Hey, we're back. Wow, I'm so excited to be here with you. Today I have such an important message. I'd like for you to treat it like it's a message from future you. Like future you came here to me, gave me this message, and I'm just a vessel that's giving it to you. Okay? Really treat it that way. In life, there are many things that get us to act in certain ways or not act in certain ways, take certain actions or not take them. And the biggest motivator will be values that we want to stay away from. It will be feelings that we never want to feel again. Feelings we felt as a kid, felt as an adult, felt as a teenager, and we don't want to feel them again. That will be the biggest motivator to keep us away from certain actions, certain realities, or to keep us going towards certain actions, certain realities. That will be the biggest motivator, which is smart. It's a way of protection, but at the same time means that, for example, you could have had a belief or a thought or a feeling or a reality that you had when you were 4 that you want to stay away from, and you're living your whole life based off of that. I actually have a great example. I was working with someone just the other day, and we uncovered that she has a fear of failure, a real fear of failure. So she made this decision that she will consider herself a failure. This way she never has to think about it ever again, right? No, wrong. In fact, because she considers herself a failure, she's constantly going to be failing and she'll have to think about it all the time, right? But it was scary, and it started when she was 4. That thought started when she was 4. We broke it down and realized that, so that's a 4-year-old's way of thinking, and that makes sense because it protected her for so long. Because if she would have kept trying forever, she may have one day finished it all, because she did feel like a failure. And trying when you feel like a failure is fighting your own force, and she did for a while. Now, the reason I brought that as an example is because it's very easy to see it on other people, a lot harder to see it on ourselves. But let's break it down. What are the stuff that you want in life that feel like you're like grasping it, but they keep flying out of your hands? Is it an apartment? Is it a job? Is it a boyfriend? What is it? Is it money? Money is the easiest example, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to go with that. Money, most of us have a little bit of a poverty mindset, which is a total different video, but we can start working on some of it now because they coincide. So money is one of those things where we want so much of it. We want what it buys us. We want the feeling. We want all that, but at the same time, we're terrified of, and you fill in the blank, but we're terrified of rejection. We're terrified of failing. We're terrified of not being enough, not being worthy of it. We're terrified of losing it. So money, if you have this fear now, when you don't have millions of dollars, then when you have millions and millions of dollars, you only have millions and millions of more fears. Get it? So my point in bringing this to your attention is not to make you feel like a failure, but to make you realize that if you're asking for something, you want something, but at the same time, you don't want what it's going to take to get there, you're practically saying, come, don't. Come, don't. And life is whatever you make it. So if you make it your friend, it'll be your friend. If you make it your enemy, it'll be your enemy. If you make it your toy that you play this game with, it plays the same game with you because you're the one who makes it that way. And it's very challenging, isn't it? So you get these moments where suddenly money starts to flow, where suddenly you have this new relationship, you have this new job, and it's flowing and everything's going in state, everything's working the way you want it, and then suddenly comes this thought that you created when you were younger, this belief, this feeling, this value of a feeling you want to stay away from. And that's stronger. Pain will always be a stronger motivator than pleasure. So even though you already have the taste of the pleasure, that pain, that fear of the pain will make you snap out of it and end the relationship. Snap out of it, use the money, and not believe you can do it again. Snap out of it and just gain the weight back. Stop being able to work out. Does that make sense? The reason it's this important, this message, is because before we can even go into how we heal this, you need to really recognize this. Okay? So 5 years from now, you is here to tell you, hey, wake up. What is it that you're asking for? And what is it that you're really telling the world about this? Are you telling the world, I'm ready to handle it? Or are you telling the world, I can't handle it at all? Because I know you want it. I know we want it. And if you don't align this, there's no way we'll ever have it. Not in 5 years and not forever. So please align it, not only for having it, for the sake of having it, but for your sake, so that you can feel safer, so that we feel more free. That's the message from future you. And a little bit about how I know this, because I definitely was doing this for a very long time. I was playing this game on many fronts, telling life what I wanted, but I was terrified of having it. I wanted money, but I was so scared of who I'd become with it. I really was scared. And I would make large sums for a short period of time and then lose the whole thing. And I didn't even understand how. And then I wouldn't make it for a while because I was scared. And then I'd grow again the concept and then make again a sum that was cool and nice and I should have been able to do some real stuff with, and then lose it again. And I couldn't understand why or how. And then when I learned this, it made a lot of sense. I was so scared. 5 years ago, me was terrified. Wanted money, but terrified of it. And I could say this about a lot of different areas of my life. But what I can tell you is that freedom comes from alignment. Align your goals. Align your feelings. Instead of being afraid of rejection and failure, how about you use fear for your advantage and say, I'm even more afraid. I'm afraid of the failure. I'm afraid of that, but you know what I'm even more afraid of? What if I don't try? And in a later one, we'll go a little bit deeper into how we actually change it. But first, this message is just to actually find the unalignment, and most of all, find compassion towards why it was created. Because a very young part of you created this protection for you, but you no longer need protection. Find it, have it written down if you really, really want for this to work. And I'll see you soon and tell you how we can start to move along this belief, this feeling, this value, and make it work for you, not against you, to get you to where you want to go quicker than you ever thought you can. All right, I'll see you soon. That's a wrap on the 5th video. That's a handful. I'm really proud. I'll see you soon.